What's going on, guys? It's GBP baby. Welcome back to another video. I hope everybody's doing well, and let's get straight into things. So hopefully you've watched yesterday's video where I was explaining my expectations for the week. If you haven't watched that yet, do go and check it out. It was yesterday's video, but nonetheless, we're here on the weekly, and you can see how we've traded up into the implied fair value gap that I drew our attention to on the weekly. So it's nice to see some, price action in terms of us drawing to what we expected. We did just overshoot it by a little bit, but you'll see our price is coming off of it quite slightly. Nonetheless, let's drop down to the daily, and you can see how we traded back up into there. So obviously you can see that we're in a absolutely horrifying consolidation right now. So I'm not really thinking too much about it. Generally speaking, though, if you watch yesterday's video, you'll know I don't want to see price close above it. And to be honest, I'm happy if we stay below this 50% level. So although we've overshot it with the wick, I am looking for price to continue to find resistance. So moving into Tuesday, I would like to think that we can see some more downwards price action, in that this weekly implied fair value gap is doing what we anticipate, with it, providing resistance to price. So what does that mean? Well, I don't really want to see us take out Monday's high. I would like to think that this is a significant swing high that we've created, and that we can start to move away from that to then trade on lower and start thinking about our south side liquidity targets below here. So let's get this Friday low marked out as south side liquidity, drop down to the 4 hour, and you can see our price rallied quite nicely up into these highs, running out these stops, and you can see again price came away from that. So yeah, it's all just a matter of how we treat this wick now. So I'm going to be looking at the 50% level of this wick. And generally speaking, I don't want to see price go any higher than that, purely because, I'm looking for this kind of price action. I was expecting to be done pretty much on Tuesday or Wednesday to create the suggestive high of the week, because I don't really expect us to trade on higher. And I do believe this is just manipulation for us to then trade on lower. Now, don't get me wrong, we do have non-farm payroll this week. So with that taken into account, we may find that we start dropping for the rest of the week, and then non-farm payroll pushes us back up. However, I'm not going to worry about non-farm payroll for now. Moving into Tuesday specifically, I want to see this midpoint respected off here. If we continue to respect the midpoint of this wick, I'm happy to look for shorts on dollar with longs on the pairs, expecting dollar to start reaching down into discount PD arrays such as this fair value gap right here and this south side liquidity pool that we have residing down here. So let's go down to the 1 hour, and you can see how again we've wicked up, and look at volume. Volume is respecting the 50% level because we're staying below it, and then we have that level marked out again because I don't want to see price go any higher than that. Now, don't get me wrong, if price does shoot past that, then it likely will continue rallying and start looking for these highs. However, I have a bearish bias. I'm simply going to stick to my bias, and there's a lot of things to support that things to support it, in that we expect rallying in the opposite direction. Like, this is what we call a Judas swing, a false rally in price. I'm assuming that's what we're getting here so that we can then trade on lower. Furthermore, this gap in price is clearly a significant price level, and you can see our price is treating that. Again, look at how volume is respecting it. So there's no reason for me to want to see price trade through it. If it does, that is very indicative of bullish price action. We'll simply get on the right side of the market and start thinking about longs and running into these highs. However, so long as we're respecting it, which we are, because look at volume. So long as we're respecting it and it's acting the way it is, and it's acting the way it should, and that being a bearish PD array, which, it's rejecting price, then there's no reason we shouldn't be expecting potential shorting opportunities to trade on lower and then look for south side liquidity targets. So yeah, although we've had this massive rallying today, very beautiful price action, I do want to continue expecting. I would like to think that Tuesday and Wednesday can offer us some more downwards price action, and we can start looking at these relative equal lows down here. So with that taken into account, if we want to see a down close day tomorrow, what does that mean for GBP? Well, obviously we would want to see some kind of upwards price action. So let's now drop down to the daily. We'll take a closer look. Guys, these are horrible conditions. I keep saying this, but I'm going to try not to complain too much. Look at Monday's candle. Anyway, we've ran out Friday's low, so we grabbed southside liquidity, and remember, I'm expecting us to trade up into this weekly fair value gap. Again, if you haven't watched yesterday's video, go check it out. But generally, so yeah, if you haven't watched yesterday's video, go check it out. But this is a weekly fair value gap that I'm expecting price to draw to. So no bias has changed. I still want to see price draw to that. We've taken out south stops. Now I can start thinking about potential longs on the pound to run out this high and run up into our buy side target. In order for me to stay confident in those trading ideas, there's certain levels which I don't want to see get taken. So I like the way that price came down and grabbed stops below here. That's very nice to see. And I like the fact that we've left certain fair value gaps untouched, such as this one. So when price leaves gaps like these, it is very indicative of bullish price action, because it's failing to fill. If it's failing to return to them, it's showing, one very directional movement in one direct. Well, yeah, it's showing very directional movement. So that's what we like to see. Let's go to the 1 hour, take a closer look. And again, as far as I'm concerned, there's not really any need for price to come back down any lower, especially since it's taken out Friday lows. Again, I'm happy for it to leave fair value gaps so that it can use that to then, trade on higher. Furthermore, we have relative equal highs above this high, and this high. So I'd like to think that price may be able to draw up into those, and then we can start thinking about trading into our fair value gap, which are our weekly imbalance for us to potentially fill. So let's go down to the 15-minute. Take a close look at price. Again, not the cleanest. And don't get me wrong, we do have relative equal lows below this low and this low. And I am anticipating these to get grabbed eventually. However, I want to see price trade higher first. Remember, I'm looking for some kind of rallying, and I'm expecting this weekly imbalance to get filled. So as far as I'm concerned, it wouldn't surprise me if price did manage to rally moving into Tuesday, Wednesday, maybe even Thursday, and then non-farm payroll price then comes back and grabs these equal lows. So let me show you what I mean. So these lows below here, these are way too clean for price, way too clean. However, I don't think that price is going to come and grab that just now. I think it's going to leave that there to build up sell sides, sell orders, sell side liquidity, and until then, price will just continue to rally to run out the buy side. So it'll accumulate buy side buy stops, and then obviously it'll offset them below. However, yeah, I don't really want to see price drop any lower than this until we've taken out these highs. So it is really, it's like coding. If A happens, then B. So I'm not happy if this is A. Let's make this more exciting. If this is A, and if this is B, I'm not happy for B to happen until A has been traded to. If B happens first, then I don't expect A to get traded to at all, and we can start thinking about, deeper sell side liquidity targets. However, until A is taken, I'm not happy to be thinking about B. I'm not really thinking about any shorts into B. Why? Because we still have that bullish bias, and on the weekly, our drawn liquidity is this imbalance. So that's how I'm thinking and looking at price, even though these conditions are absolutely horrifying, and I highly suggest no one trades in them. But nonetheless, I am looking for rallying moving into Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday. So I hope that all makes sense. Again, very complicated conditions. We do have a bullish order block right here. Again, the fact that price failed to take out this low here and is still trading on higher, it's showing a willingness to want to trade on higher. So again, there's no reason to expect price to want to keep dropping. Yes, we had this big fall off today, but again, I'm just seeing that simple manipulation, and I'm happy for price to rally. Beautiful relative. Look how clean these highs are. Look how clean. Price is going to want to gobble them up for lunch, I believe. But again, if price does want to go for B, I don't expect A to get traded to at all. I want to see A get traded to, then I can start thinking about B. So that's going to be everything on pound. And this is all assuming, again, if we go back to dollar, this is where we use the dollar. This is all assuming dollar respects the levels which we've drawn out, which was this 50% level. And remember, this is an imbalance, so it's pretty much an inversion fair value gap. So long as dollar's respecting that, there's no reason for us to be on any other side of the market, because we're seeing support with the dollar, we're seeing support on the pound. So we should be able to stay in line with that, and pound should be able to push on higher whilst dollar continues to fall. But nonetheless, let's go down to euro and look at how price traded down into this level, which I called out yesterday absolutely gorgeously. So let's go up to the weekly. I believe this is a daily PD array that we traded down into. So we actually traded to the 50% level off this wick. This is why just before it, sorry. This is why I always bring out the 50% levels. But on the daily, I do believe it's a daily PD array. So let's drop down to the daily. Oh, it's not even a daily PD array. I wish I should have marked out what this level was. Nonetheless, we've came down, we've grabbed stops. What stops? Sell stops. We have a bullish order block right here on the 4 hour. So this is a significant bullish order block. And you can see our price traded into it. Where to? The 50% level again. And then what's happened? Price is traded away from it. So we're seeing respect of bullish PD arrays. Again, everything we want to see. We've accumulated sell side liquidity below here, and on the higher time frames, we're wanting to see price draw up into our rejection block level up here. I spoke about all of this in yesterday's video, so definitely go check it out. But my point being, so long as we continue to trade on higher now, I'm happy to expect a lot of expansion to the upside moving into Tuesday, Wednesday, and Thursday. Now, let's say price does drop. Again, A and B. I want to see A get traded to before we think about B. If B gets traded to first, price is obviously one directional. It's in a rush to get somewhere, and then we can start thinking about these lows and these lows. So although I'm not bringing your attention to these lows and these lows now, they are in my mind. Like, I recognize that there's sell side liquidity here, I recognize the sell side liquidity here, and I recognize that there's sell side liquidity here. But the reason I'm so stuck on wanting to see price trade higher is because that is my higher time frame analysis, and we go based off the higher time frame. So that's where my bias is coming from, and why, so long as price is supporting that, which it is, why look at how price is respecting bullish PD arrays. So long as price is supporting that, there's no reason for us to start thinking about these. It's when price stops supporting our bias that we need to start thinking about these. So let's go down to the 1 hour, and then we'll see again, price came down into it. Look at how we're closing. And I do believe we're going to see continued support as we move into the new day. Hopefully we can get quite a nice day in terms of seeing a basic, low created in London, and then expansion for the rest of the day, running up into, again, beautiful relative equal highs up here. There's going to be a lot of buy side liquidity. So I'm looking for that Monday high to get targeted moving into Tuesday. Look at this mitigation right there, and you can see, look at how price, again, bullish order blocks. You see how we're finding support in these levels and still trading on higher. There's no reason for it to think about shorts right now because it's in line with our bias. This drop right here, again, I think it's just manipulation. I think it's just a Judas swing. We're probably going to see 2 Judas swings this week, in that this is the Judas swing for the Judas swing. Because if we're overall expecting price to trade lower, which, I do genuinely expect like a large expansion to one side very soon, it will happen on the back of non-farm payroll. But until then, let's just play the game and just go with the flow in terms of wanting to see price rally. Now, generally, ICT suggests to get all your trading done by Wednesday afternoon on non-farm payroll week. So that's what we're going to try and do. But yeah, that's what I'm expecting. So I hope that all makes sense, guys. Again, very difficult conditions. If you look at price, again, you can see these aren't very nice conditions. I'm just going off, how price is behaving, and that's just what I want to see. But again, if B gets traded to first, that is going to be very indicative to me, saying, look, we want to go lower now, and we ain't got no time for no cute buy side liquidity up here, and that's fine. We will know it because price will be dropping. It will be disrespecting our PD arrays, and we can then start thinking about getting in on the shorts and whatever. But for now, we stick to the bias, the higher time frame bias, and we try and get to where we want to get to. So I hope that all makes sense. I hope that was insightful. Don't forget to drop a like, drop a comment, smash subscribe, join the mailing list, join the Discord, and I will talk to you guys tomorrow. Peace.